So today I'm going to show you how I make some of my little skeleton lights. And I use some dollar store skeletons, which may not be available right now, but you can look on Amazon. You'll probably be able to find some. These are made with the Halloween little skeleton garland. If you can find them separate, that's fine as well. And we're going to use some miniature LEDs. If you can also use dollhouse lights, if that's what you have. That's what I used to always use, was just the dollhouse lighting, but I'm going to try LEDs because I've never used them. They do come in different colors. I bought a pack of these, and they're all different colors. I'm assuming the dot is what color they are. They come in yellow, blue, sorry, that was red, blue. I'm assuming that's just clear, green, and that must be gold. We're going to try some of these out and see. You're also going to need a way to power these. What I've bought are these little battery boxes, and they just take a 9-volt battery. So these are pretty easy. I don't know if you can wire these into normal dollhouse lights. You can comment if you do know. But I find just the little battery boxes work very well for these. You're also going to need for this is something to drill a hole through the skull's head. So you can either use a drill press or something else. I'm going to use a Dremel. That's what I've used in the past. It seems to be the safest way to do this. And I'm just going to use one of these little cutters that I've got. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to start off with releasing our tiny little skeleton hostages. I used to make a ton of these for miniature shows, and I did have some that were made, but they're all gone, so we're going to start just from scratch here. Alright, so I've got my little Dremel here, and actually I'm just going to lower this so we can get as good of a view as we can here. So all you want to do is just drill the little eye out. So just be careful. Make sure you're wearing safety equipment when you're doing this. Just be careful while you're doing this, but just slowly drill out the eye. You can see we want it so we're drilling this to the back of the head, so this might not even be long enough. I may have to readjust that, but I'm just going to slowly drill this out. And I do like to drill this to the back of the head as much as I can, just so you can hide the wires a little easier. Alright, so we've got the little holes drilled in his head. Hopefully you can see that, and there's a little exit hole. And now we're going to add our LEDs. So I'm going to use the red ones today and see if I can fish these through without causing me too many problems. Now these do have a fairly big end on them, so make sure your hole's big enough to pull them in. There we go, that actually went pretty easy. And now we're going to do the other one. Hopefully I've got enough room for the other wires. This part's always the trickiest part. Just got to make sure there's enough room there. So if there isn't, you can just make the hole bigger if you need to. But it does look like it should fit. There we go, there's the wires. Grab my pliers to get a hold of them. And hopefully my hole for the eye socket is large enough. go. It's not set quite as far as the other one, but it doesn't have to be perfect. If you're concerned about it, pull it out, drill it out again, make sure it's big enough. You can see it's out a little bit, but again, he's a skeleton. He's the undead. He's not going to care if his eyes are a little crooked. So now we're going to wire this. So pretty simple. Red to red, black to black. If you need to cut off more of the wires, that's fine as well. And then I just use a little bit of electrical tape on this to put them together. I usually like a little more wire than that, so I will probably peel those off a little. But I think for what we're doing, I should, maybe not. Finicky little wires. We're going to do the black. And we should at least be able to light it up. There we go. And I will put some electrical tape on both of those connections. And we're going to add our battery. Not the easiest things to get in there. All right, let's take a look. Ah, there we go. Now, how cool is he going to look sitting out in your cemetery or in front of your dollhouse? And now we're going to continue on. I think he looks a little too plain, so I think we're going to paint him up here. So I'm just going to use a little black acrylic paint that I have watered down a little bit. And we're just going to give him a little bit of a paint wash. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of brown and a little bit of green acrylic paint as well. So I wanted to use some railroad moss for this, but I don't have any with me, so I'm just going to use this foliage that I got at the dollar store, and I think that'll work just fine. What I'm trying to do is make him look like he's been sitting out in the cemetery for a while and that he's got some stuff growing on top of him, so I think this will work fine. And I'm just going to use some Eileen's tacky glue for this, but you can use any kind of glue that dries clear. And depending on what kind of skeleton you've got, some of them are a little brittle, so repositioning them, please do be careful so you don't break off limbs, although that could be another look altogether. So I'm just bending his hands up a little. This would probably be easier if I hit it with the heat gun for a few seconds, but I don't have it with me, so I'm just lightly, very carefully bending his arms up because I want to tie them together with my little piece of twine here. right, now he's all ready for your cemetery or your porch. And you can tape this wire up if you wish. You can hide it in something. I think in the future I'll show you how to make a little hide box for the battery box, so we don't have to have it sticking out. But for the meantime, I'm just going to tape this up with some electrical tape so it's not as noticeable. And here he is, all lit, sitting on the front porch of my little dollhouse. I think he turned out pretty good. The glue still has to dry, so there is some little white spots, although that's not the worst look. The eyes do look a little weird in this video here. I can see the reflecting, but in person they look really nice. If they are too bright, you can go over it a little bit with some acrylic paint to kind of make them not quite as bright. The eyes are very, very difficult to video because they're reflecting and they don't look that bright in person, but they really do with this. There you go. You can see how cute he is. I hope you've enjoyed this little skeleton lighted eye tutorial. I try to put out at least one new video every week, so please do subscribe. It really does help me build the channel, and thanks so much for watching.